Yo, 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 what's up, my gravy babies? It's ya boy, Lego Redhead, back at you again with another video about electoral systems, my boyos. Alright, so what's going on here is I'm going to be explaining to y'all's mixed member proportional, okay? That is a proportional electoral system that is used in the Commonwealth of New Zealand, aka one of the British Rome, also known as where Queen Elizabeth lives, except not because she lives in Buckingham Palace. Come on, you guys know that. You're smart. All right. So essentially, what mixed member proportional is you take a number of electorate seats, which are essentially like U.S. congressional districts, and you have political parties, okay, and so you get on your ballot you get two votes, one for your political party and one for your electorate, and in the electorate you vote for a person, whereas for the party vote you vote for a political party, okay. In New Zealand it's like Labour, Greens, New Zealand First, Top, I don't know, Act, Green, there's plenty of different options, more than in the United States at least, okay. And so then what happens is uh, the number of seats in Parliament that each party gets is proportional to the number of votes they get. So if they get 40% of the votes, they get 40% of the seats. Ooh, who could have thought that? That doesn't make any sense. How does that work? I don't understand, except you do, because it's so simple. All right, okay. And so then, what's the next thing that happens? What's next is that the anybody who won an electorate seat gets their votes, and if the party gets under 5% of the vote, then they don't get as many votes. They don't get any seats at all unless they win an electorate seat, in which case they get 4% of the vote or whatever. Unless of course they got like 0% of the vote, in which case they're just like an independent member of the New Zealand Parliament, and so then they choose the prime minister. And essentially that's how mixed member proportional works. But in New Zealand they've also got Maori seats specifically set aside for the Maori people of New Zealand, who are essentially their version of Native Americans, except not Americans, because they're in New Zealand. But they are natives, though, kinda. Well, yeah, they are, objectively speaking. I mean, obviously they originally came from Africa, but so did everybody. So in the grand scheme of things, they're natives, to New Zealand. And the Treaty of Waitangi is actually a very interesting political junction in that it was a relatively peaceful unification of native and European society, though of course it wasn't completely peaceful, with the musket wars and all that. And obviously the Europeans kind of sucked in a lot of aspects, which is pretty uncool. But you gotta admit, Auckland's a pretty cool name. Okay, all right. Oh, and in the recent 2020 New Zealand election. Uh, Labour won a massive majority of 65 seats. Whoa-wee, and almost 50% of the. This is the first time in the history of New Zealand's mixed member proportional that any party has won a majority of the seats. And New Zealand First, which was one of their parties, they lost all of their seats because they suck. Winston Peters, that's like two first names. You can't have that. That's ridiculous. Okay, and so National lost a whole bunch, but Green and ACT, which is their Green Party and the Libertarian Party equivalents, they both did just absolutely fantastic. Jacinda Ardern, David Seymour, Close Warbrick, whatever, all that. Okay, and so essentially, the North Island and South Island, that's the G, and the Maori Party also won seats, since the Maori electorates would usually go towards Labour. However, this time instead they went for the Maori Party. Well, one of them did at least. All the other ones they didn't do that though. So there was also the Opportunities Party, but they didn't win any votes. So who cares about them? Okay, that's just straight facts. That's just straight facts. Okay. Anyways, that my gravy babies is all there is to MMP. So thank you very much. And yeah yeah yeet.